Hi, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Buenos dias a todos. Thank you for joining us. My name is Yanira Gonzalez. I am a partnership engagement manager with the Hispanic Alliance for Career Enhancement, which is a national nonprofit whose mission is to positively impact the workplace by cultivating the pipeline of talent, by providing Latinos with insight, access, and support to be successful in their careers. Today, we are very excited to have Khio Santos, Talent Acquisition Supervisor at Voya Financial, joining us to discuss HACE's upcoming Finance, Accounting, and HR Recruitment Series that is scheduled for March 29th from 11:30 to 1 p.m. Central Time. So in this event, job seekers can expect to learn more about each of our participating companies and connect with recruiters and other representatives from our partners at Voya Financial, Discover, and the Federal Reserve Bank of Chicago. So if you're currently in the market for a new job, be sure to join us. This event is open to all job seekers. Again, just want to repeat, this event is open to all job seekers, not just those in the finance, accounting, or HR spaces. So be sure to register for this event via the aceonline.org/events page. And before we start today's conversation, we also just want to quickly plug ACE's 41st Annual Leadership Summit, which is just a month away. This event takes place between April 20th and 21st, and attendees can expect to engage in impactful conversations around professional development and personal growth, and discuss best practices related to diversity, equity, and inclusion and talent acquisition. So again, if you are curious to learn more, visit aceonline.org/events. Lastly, our program application deadline is approaching on March 24th for our Emerging Latino Leaders program and our Multicultural Leadership program. So be sure to get those applications in. Now, good morning, Khio, and thank you so much for joining us today. It's been a pleasure, honestly, to converse with you over these last few days. So, as you know, this live stream is named Cafecito con HACE. So, the first thing that I want to ask is, how do you like your cafecito prepared? Or if you're not a coffee drinker or a reformed coffee drinker like myself, what is your morning beverage of choice? I know this morning I'm sipping on some sparkling mineral water, so trying to get my taste buds awakened and activated. But how about you?
That sounds good. First of all, thank you so much for having me, Janita. So that is such a great question. And I think all Latinos know that you have to have your cafecito in the morning, right? But please don't judge me. My beverage of choice in the morning actually happens to be Coca-Cola. I know it's kind of weird, but it gets me really going, and you'll realize the energy that comes out of the screen very soon. However, there's nothing better than the smell of cafe bustelo when you go into the vecina's or your tia's house. It's like everything. So I love the smell of it, but I just choose Coca-Cola in the morning.
Yeah, I mean, no worries. You know, coffee drinking is not for everybody, but I do honestly think there must be some sort of a science to the smell of coffee, because I feel personally like the smell alone is enough to get my brain active and going. So it could be a placebo effect. I'm not a scientist, so I don't know the answers, but we're definitely not judging you for drinking Coke. Coke is a superb drink, and we can't blame you for that one.
I know it gets us going. Gets us going.
Exactly. Whatever works. And it has the caffeine, which is all you need. So, well, anyway,
Exactly.
Khio, I do want to know, obviously, we want the audience to get to know you a little better. I'm sure that this is a lot of people's first time seeing and interacting with you. So, can you tell us about your cultural and professional background?
Awesome. Yes. So, as far as my cultural background, yo soy dominicana. I am first generation Dominican. My parents immigrated from Dominican Republic in the late 70s, and they came out to the Bronx, New York. They came for that American dream, but also they came because they wanted to give us, which is me and my brothers, a better future. So I'm so proud to be Dominican, and I'm always saying, hey, you know what? Let's go to Dominican Republic. We got to get back to our culture. So I'm all about Dominican Republic. As far as my professional background, I mean, what do you want to know?
Everything.
How much time do I have?
We've got a good 15 to 20 minutes left. So go ahead and dive deep.
Awesome. That's perfect. So, in any event, I'm currently a supervisor for talent acquisition at Voya. I have been with Voya for about 8 years. Now, I can tell you that my professional career in the financial industry started in the financial industry, but I did a little bit of a detour in other industries. But I can tell you that I never thought that I would be where I'm at now in talent acquisition. Because of my environment growing up in the Bronx, my goal was to hustle hard and make that money. In my eyes, the only way to do so is getting into the financial industry. I mean, financial industry, money, that's how I thought when I was growing up. So during high school, I had the opportunity to work as an intern at a bank in New York City. And let me tell you, I thought I made it. Like something about me wearing a suit every day, having my peers and strangers just respect me, fed into that I made it mentality. I wanted to continue in that path. So I went off to college, landed another internship at another bank. And that is where my career actually took off. After interning, I was offered a full-time position with a bank, which shortly led me to manage one of our branches. As a manager, I quickly realized how much value I brought to the table as a Latina and the impact that I was making in the community. So I became more and more focused on helping Latinos with their financial needs, which I did that for quite a number of years. I took a little break after the birth of my son and then took a little dabble in different industries as well. So I did an industry detour, if you want to call it. I knew I had a passion for helping people, so I took a chance at recruiting. And oh boy, I'm telling you, I loved it. I felt like this was my way of giving back and giving people a chance. I mean, similarly how to the bank did for the girl from the Bronx, not saying who it is, who had no experience, but had a passion and grit and clearly had the best sense of humor. So throughout the years, I gained the recruiting experience and worked for several industries, but never forgot my day one industry, which is the financial industry. Remember, I thought financial industry, I got to make that money. So 8 years ago, I came back to the financial industry, joined Voya Financial, and it was one of the best decisions that I've ever made. Now, if you're listening to this backstory that I just gave you so far and you haven't fallen asleep yet, you might have caught on that the fact that Voya and I had the same vision for a very long time. Voya's vision is together we fight for everyone's opportunity for a better financial future. And that was really what I was doing back in the day. But in my role today, I strive to make people's career dreams come true. And that is fairly easy to do because our culture here at Voya is truly amazing. We're urged to learn about each other, celebrate our differences, be an ally and advocate to each other. Not only that, we're encouraged to bring our authentic selves to work. And if any of my peers are on this cafecito, they're going to tell you, I am Kio all day, every day, no matter what. And that's why I love working for Voya, especially doing what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's a really impactful response. I wasn't sure what to expect from putting that question out there, but it's very obvious just by the way that you speak and present yourself. You know, you're talking about the fact that you didn't have a linear career path. You went on these different ventures and explored these different industries, and yet this is where you ended up. And now you're in a position where you can sort of give back to people who want that experience. They want the experience of an employer who's going to see their potential and invest in them and put effort into growing and developing that person. So it's really great to see that you're in a position now where you can sort of give that back to other members of the community. And again, just the way that you're presenting yourself so authentically, I think that says a lot about how Voya creates a space for you to be yourself and to be truly yourself. Often in these DEI spaces, we talk about the importance of authenticity, but not every company creates a culture where you can actually be yourself. So again, I think the way that you've presented yourself thus far in this conversation is proof of Voya is really living the mission. So I'm really happy to hear all of that. Thank you for your response.
No,
Now,
thank you so much.
yeah, of course. Now, I do want to ask you, because again, Voya Financial is going to be a special guest in our March recruitment series. So I want to know, can you give the audience some insight into what they can expect from this event?
Totally. So this event is going to be fantastic. This is an opportunity for everyone in attendance to connect with representatives from some extraordinary companies who will give the attendees a better insight on what it's like to work in their industry. Voya will definitely be in attendance, so I'll definitely be there as well. And you will continue, we will continue to share what it's like to work for Voya, as well as the opportunities that we may have to offer. So I really encourage everyone to join us, stop by, ask questions. This could be your chance to really explore and land your next career venture in the financial industry.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely. And I know we don't want to give up too much of the sauce, right? We don't want to tell the audience too much now because we want to encourage everyone to come out for March 29th. That way you can hear a little bit more in depth what each of our partners is doing. We're going to provide some information about what the day-to-day experiences would be like as an employee of this company, or what the company is doing to invest in the growth of their employees, or what the company culture is like. I know that these are all questions that are very relevant to job seekers. What we're seeing in 2023 is that a lot of job seekers now want the opportunity. There's less of the job jumping that we saw in previous years. Now, a lot of job seekers want companies that are going to invest in them. They want to stay long term. They want that opportunity to grow with their company. So we're very excited to hear some of those additional details that you'll provide on the 29th. Now, I also want to ask you, Kio, because you mentioned that you're a talent acquisition supervisor. So I'm sure that you're very accustomed to providing job seekers with support, as you previously mentioned. So what are some helpful tips that you can share with attendees as they prepare for this recruitment series event?
That's a great question. So in general, my number one advice to everyone is to research the company, right? Go to their website, check out what they do, what they stand for. Do they align with your values? And if all is good, check, check, check. Explore their opportunities. Look for the ones that really spark your interest. Jot down those opportunities so when you get to an event, and to this event especially, you have a game plan, right? You can talk to the representative and say, hey, I am interested in this. Can you give me some more information? Because from a talent acquisition perspective, it helps us understand what you're looking for and where you want to be so we can point you at the right direction. That would be something that I would say would be my number one advice. But also, I mean, like everyone will probably say when you go into any event, of course, have your resume ready and have it updated. Don't be discouraged if you don't have industry experience, because we, especially here at Voya, we're committed to fostering a diverse work environment. So what that means is that we're looking for transferable skills. We're also looking for relevant experience, because it's always great to have a fresh perspective, which really brings me to my last tip. Be authentically you, because guess what? You showed up, you made the effort, so you got this.
Mm-hmm. Yep, those are all great tips. I think the second tip really resonated with me about don't let the industry deter you. Basically, you know, if you have transferable skills, that counts for a lot. And actually, I do remember reading a statistic a few years back about, I don't remember exactly what it was, but something along the lines of most women and people of color, if they're like reading a job description and they don't fit one of the descriptors, we will automatically count ourselves out. We'll say, well, we don't have these one or two requirements, so therefore we're not going to put ourselves out there. But you can still make a case for yourself with an employer to say, I may not have this exact experience that you're looking for, but I'm skilled in all of these different areas and I'm willing to learn. That counts a lot when you're a job seeker. So thank you for sharing that. Now, I see some engagement in the comments. I want to encourage the audience, if you have any questions for Khio, please be sure to put them in the chat and we'll highlight them and address them here. But in the meantime, I do have one last question. Oh, I see one from Melinda. That's our Director of Leadership Programs. She says, thank you, Khio, for leading authentically. What are you most excited about for this upcoming recruitment event?
Great question. Thank you so much, Melinda. So what I'm looking forward to is meeting my fellow Latinos and encouraging them to say, hey, like Yanira was saying before, you don't necessarily have to have industry experience. One of the things that I know in regards to our community is that sometimes, finance, what is that? Like, why do I want to go in there? It's not really an industry that we say, yeah, I want to do that right now. So for me, what excites me the most is to just let our community know, hey, you don't have to necessarily have the financial experience. You have relevant experience. So let's figure it out. Come join us, because it's a great industry to be in, especially now.
Yeah. Thank you. Great response. And then I see another shout out from one of our other colleagues, Lisandra Jimenez. She says, Khio, love your energy. What are some things that have helped you be so confident and comfortable with leading authentically?
Lisandra, thank you so much. And I think one of the things that has helped me is obviously my Coca-Cola in the morning. No, I'm kidding.
Of course. That's
I can't keep going. But I think I've had some great leaders that believed in my ability. And, sometimes we question ourselves. We're like, oh my God, am I really doing this right? I've been blessed with great leaders and mentors that are like, you know what, Khio, you're doing it. Keep going. Just, your hard work pays off. So that's made me more comfortable and confident. But I can tell you, as far as working at Voya, the culture really, really, really encourages you to be yourself. And I can't tell you how many leaders have, said, Khio, I love you. Like, all of you, just bring it here. Like, come over. Because at the end of the day, your work speaks for itself, right? Mm-hmm. And if you are yourself and you do a good job, then obviously everyone is going to notice. So that has been my wheelhouse in regards to being authentic. Is really about my mentors, the leaders, and my peers encouraging me doing the best that I can.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that speaks to, as you mentioned, the importance of, before you're going into an event like this, you want to do your research. You want to see, does their culture actually align with what I'm looking for in my next position? So again, I'm very glad that you were able to find that, and that, now you're in an environment that not only supports it, but helps you cultivate it and truly be authentically you. I see another question from Ada Martinez. They say, Khio, how do you get your non-Latino peers to see the importance of sponsorship?
So that's a great question. So I'll kind of frame it in a little bit different than probably the sponsorship part. But I can tell you that one of the things from my non-Latino peers that I've been doing is just really working side by side with them, and really, putting in the work and letting them know, like, the value of the diversity of thought, right? Also, sometimes I may think differently than maybe what they might think, and saying, hey, have y'all ever thought about this? And sometimes they don't. Sometimes they're like, nah, I never thought about it. And it's like, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it together. Let's kind of come up with something as a group effort, because at the end of the day, I want to learn about them as well. So, that is how I get kind of their buy-in in regards to, anything that I might do that's a little bit, like in the Keo side, right? I think that for us as Latinos, we have to show that, like everyone else, we have the experience. We know what we're talking about. We want to get their buy-in. So how we do that is really be confident in what you're presenting and really just say, hey, look, this is how it's going to bring value to the company and to us as a team.
Yeah, definitely. Confidence and relationship building are really essential in that. All right. I see another shout out for you. You're a rock star if you didn't already know that, Keo. Just bringing
Thank
that to
you.
your awareness. Now, I know that we're pretty much at time, so I have one last question for you. And that is, what are you hopeful for, or what is a positive story that gives you hope for this year?
For sure. So last year and going into this year, I was asked to co-lead a team for the Hispanic Latino Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Task Force at Voya. And this team has been tasked to think of new ideas and initiatives for Hispanic and Latino communities, especially in the hiring and recruitment. Our team's goal is to continue to spread the word about our culture at Voya so everyone can consider and choose us as a future employer. So I am hopeful this year that we will continue to spread the word with all the great things that we have to offer. And more importantly, I really want to see more Latinos interested in the financial industry and joining the Voya Familia. So, of course, feel free to reach out to me via LinkedIn at Khioverny Santos if you have any questions in regards to Voya. But I am hopeful that we are going to, have Latinos be in the financial industry and having more of us representing.
Yeah, that makes me very hopeful too. So thank you so much for sharing. Thank you to the audience for keeping the conversation going. Keo, have a great rest of your day. And again, can't wait to see you during the March 29th recruitment series.
All
Take
right.
care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.